Now, a dissident writer from China has attacked the London Book Fair for only inviting state-approved writers to speak at this year's event, which is focusing on China. Bei Ling, an exiled poet and essayist, has written to the British Council, the organisers of the cultural programme of the fair, expressing his amazement that, as he put it, no independent voice, exiled or dissident writer from China had been invited to take part. Well, the fair is one of the biggest international publishing events in the world. So have the organisers censored themselves or allowed themselves to be manipulated over this year's programme? Well, nobody from the fair or at the British Council was available to talk to us today, although the Council has said that they consulted widely on which authors to invite and that the intended focus was always on people living and writing in China rather than exiles. Well, Sarah Hesketh is events manager of English Pen, the organisation that campaigns for the freedom to write and the freedom to read. Sarah Hesketh, do you agree with what Bei Ling has been saying?
Well, Pen is all about the freedom to write and freedom to read, and we do share the concerns of our colleagues at the Chinese Pen Centre, and we continue to campaign for writers who are imprisoned in China. I think the British Council have in fact done very well in quite difficult circumstances to produce a programme that is quite broad and perhaps more varied than we might have hoped under the circumstances.
Could they have taken more risks though?
They're working, as I say, in quite difficult circumstances. They have to work with the GAP organisation, which is the organisation in China which oversees the publishing industry. And they obviously have to work with people on the ground to discover which voices they should be trying to bring over. I would say that we would have liked to have seen a broader programme with some more dissident voices. And what we've done at English Pen is organise our own day on Thursday, the 29th of March, which will include a wider space for discussion around wider issues that might not get discussed at the book fair. And we will be including exiled writers such as Marjan, and we will be including some dissident writers that we've invited from China.
Why, though, couldn't the London Book Fair that? I mean, two names spring to mind, don't they? 2000 Nobel laureate Gao Xingjiang, also, of course, Liu Xiaobo, who won the 2010 Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, they didn't need to go through the Chinese authorities to get them to come, so why couldn't they just extend the invitation?
Well, Liu Xiaobo is in prison, so obviously they do have to go through the Chinese authorities on that point. He is a criminal according to Chinese law, so the British Council couldn't invite Liu Xiaobo. As the British Council have said, the market-focused cultural programme is actually intended to bring writers over from the country that is the market focus itself. So bringing over a exiled writer from France wouldn't be in line with their usual practice for the market focus.
Is it also because of the London Book Fair is, essentially about business, isn't it? I mean, it is a trade fair.
Yes, it is a trade fair, and the aim of the cultural programme is to expand what happens at the fair away from that business focus. And the English Pen programme there at the Pen Literary Cafe, our aim there is also to put literature sort of back at the heart of the fair. And we will still be there and we will still be programming. And in fact, we are including Jung Chang, who is what you might call a dissident writer. Her book Wild Swans was banned by the Chinese government.
Just in a word, though, I mean, maybe they should have just avoided China altogether.
I think it's very hard if you're a large publishing industry to ignore what is a huge and potentially very lucrative market. And I have to say that some cultural exchange is better than no cultural exchange at all.
Sarah, many thanks. That was Sarah Hesketh of the English branch of Pen. Now, we were hearing about youth unemployment